At Room to Room, there's no need to wait. Black Friday deals are going on now.
Dual power sofa only $8.99, plus Lazy Boy recliner starting at only $3.99.
Room to Room Tupelo, where we know there's no place like your home.
At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Have you seen it? Again, the golden question heading into our Wednesday night broadcast, the auroras off there in the distance, at least for some of us. We'll have a look at that coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 10. Welcome into the show. I'm meteorologist Gabe, and we have an action-packed show. Once again, no storms, literal storms on the horizon, but we are tracking a geomagnetic storm. Just what exactly are we getting? We'll look at that in more detail in just a moment. But let's first start with our headlines. And the here and now is going to be some foggy starts that are going to limit our coverage of those northern lights as we get further into those AM hours. Thursday starting off foggy for some of us and some dense fog coverage at that. So low beams, go ahead and get them ready. What to expect Friday night? Yes, football back in the forecast. Playoff matchups for sure. We're heading out to Faulkner to watch Oklahoma come into town and take on the Faulkner. Oh my word, I think it's the Faulkner Eagles on that. Got to look up before Friday night, right? But it is going to be a great matchup, and I'm sure there's a lot of other playoff action that you guys are going to forecast shaping up just nicely. And of course, the latest on the auroras. What are we going to be seeing? What have we seen? We have a few pictures, but not exactly measuring up to what we saw yesterday, but a picture is a picture. Even here in North Mississippi, and getting any view of those northern lights is a big deal. But here's the issue. The first 11 p.m., still clear, 48 degrees, getting a good visual on that. But if the storm were to peak in the early AM hours, you do see fog coverage building as we go about that morning time. Temperatures are dropping as well. That's a whole other concern that we need to make sure to layer up for. Low 40s as we get out the door tomorrow morning. But yeah, a multitude of things that we need to go ahead and check off our list as we head out the door for our Thursday. Mabin right now had a great view of the northern lights yesterday. I don't think we're getting as good of a view, but still those clear skies showing up with, I see a few stars up there in the sky. So hopefully getting a good look at potentially some of those reddish pink hues on the horizon. But as of right now, I think that we're just missing out. Maybe not the only one. We did get a good look out of the Pontotoc camera as well. The pinks were really showing up yesterday with some of those long, what's the word I'm looking for? That night mode that we get on some of the cameras that have a longer duration, allowing some light to come in. Not getting that tonight because there's not really anything to see. 48 degrees there in Pontotoc, a cold one for sure. But we're just waiting on the lights. Where are the lights? The golden question for sure. Blue Springs busy on 22, so it is going to be busy on the roadways and hopefully busy up in the sky. But 48 degrees, dew point's currently sitting at 46. And that's where we're getting some of that moisture back in the forecast, allowing for that fog to form. And yeah, it's going to be pretty dense in some spots for the start of our Thursday. Mississippi Live Weather radar staying clear as of our Wednesday night. We're currently in clear air mode, so not tracking anything storm-wise in the sky, but we are trying to get some of the lights or some of those colors back in action. Satellite imagery, keeping with those dry conditions. If we take things out, we can see that we are clear, abundantly clear across North Mississippi. A little bit of that cloud coverage out there towards Illinois and Indiana, as well as the Northeast. But here in Mississippi and Alabama, we're looking good to go. I've seen a few shots out there in northern Arkansas. They've gotten a really good look out there. Hopefully that kind of filters into North Mississippi, but they're enjoying clear skies, giving them full access to whatever they want to view in the sky. We have the same forecast. We just don't have the same lights in the sky. And that's where we kind of want to measure up to Arkansas in what they are seeing. So high pressure, the big driver in our forecast, keeping things dry, keeping things clear, and keeping things absolutely beautiful once again for our Thursday. But watch how that high pressure kind of moves across the area as we get further into our Thursday morning. This is, of course, our future cast right here, and you can see it inching just a little bit more towards the east. That's going to allow some of those winds to come out of the south, come out of the south, building in a little bit more of that moisture. That's where we could get a little bit of that cloud cover. But our primary threat for the start of our Thursday is going to be some of that fog just building in. As you can see, just that gradual increase in coverage. That's normally indicative on Futurecast of some fog building into the area, and a pretty decent coverage area at that, all the way across Highway 6 and all the way across I-22 going all the way to Birmingham. So several areas dealing with that moisture return, but luckily once that sun comes up, burns up a lot of that fog coverage, and then we're going to be transitioning into a partly cloudy cloudy sky. You do see some rainfall out there towards Louisiana. Not going to be in our forecast. We do stay dry for our Thursday once again as high pressure keeps things clear. So Thursday afternoon looking good to go, but the next 24 really looking good, all things considered. 43 for the start of the day. Look at what it warms up to. We're back into the 70s. Guys, it is November 13th. And 13 is usually an unlucky number, but I guess to my wife and to this forecast, it's a lucky number for sure. 72 degrees, definitely a good one. Good number to get to with our temperatures this time of year, along with that mostly sunny skies for the good portion of the day, but cloud cover building in by the latter half. That'll limit how much sunshine we do see, but nonetheless, it's going to be a great forecast for November 13th. Definitely a time where you need to make some plans outside, probably making plans out to go outside right now to maybe see some of those northern lights. We'll have an update from the storm chasers here in just a moment, but also we're going to take a look at some pictures you guys have submitted across North Mississippi. That coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 10, live from the Room to Room Weather Center in the next 60.
Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
By the time you see the symptoms of lung cancer, it could be too late. Now there's a new scan that can detect lung cancer early. If you smoked, get scanned.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynard.
Well, I told you that we would have some weather watcher pictures out there in the field. This is from Nikki in Morville. And as you can see right there in the distance, you get a little bit of that pink hue, not exactly overdoing it, but it is still there. So it's a great shot nonetheless. And a big thank you to Nikki in Morville for submitting that to us here at Mississippi Live Weather. Another shot in Tremont, getting a good shot there from Brittany. Again, that slightly pink hue on the horizon. This was one of those weaker ones whenever that surged a little bit south, but we did get a good look right there. I took a picture over at the Maynard household and did get a good look of some of those pink skies as well. But New Albany, the winner tonight, Amber submitting this picture. I mean, if you're wondering where the pink hues are, definitely out there in Union County, a great looking sky out there. So hopefully you guys have gotten out to see it. I'm working to get with Adrian here behind the scenes with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. He can walk us through a little bit more on that forecast as he's been looking through things behind the scenes, a little bit more knowledgeable whenever it comes to, here it is right here, a little bit more knowledgeable whenever it comes to the forecast with the Auroras. So Adrian, you're on the phone here at Mississippi Live Weather. What exactly are you seeing right now? Oh, there might be some background noise going on. But what exactly are you seeing right now when it comes to this storm, and are we going to get a better visual on this?
Well, we've been kind of going back and forth all night. We've had some ingredients together, but it's just seemed like they've never been able to just meet up just right. And unfortunately, last night we set the expectations so high.
For sure.
Kind of like we did in May last year. It was just such a beautiful sight that it's hard to top it. Right now, I have some reds visible over the northern horizon, and even some pillar action.
Ooh.
But I will say that this is the best it's looked all night. So if you can get a camera out in North Mississippi toward the northern horizon, you got a good shot of seeing it right now if you're low on light pollution.
Let me work on getting that up. You know, we talk about the expectation being set a little bit higher yesterday. You know, yesterday was kind of an anomaly in regards to what we see here in North Mississippi whenever it comes to the northern lights. What is the difference between tonight's forecast compared to what we had this time yesterday?
Well, today is very similar to last year's October setup, where we kind of went back and forth through the evening, where you're only dealing with a single solar flare impacting the coronal mass ejection. It's much more dependent on timing and things lining up just right. But yesterday, what made yesterday special is you had just a double whammy of two different solar flares, very powerful solar flares impacting right after each other. So they kind of made each other right and corrected some of the wrongs they may have had on their own.
For sure.
It's very unique.
For sure, and we were hopeful tonight. You know, I think it was NOAA was forecasting a little bit more action tonight, the potential for another G4 type storm, and that's what we had last night. And is there any hope that this will peak a little bit more, or maybe we'll get a little bit more coverage as we head into these overnight hours?
Well, you see, the KP index and the G rating is very it's reactionary. You know what I mean? I would say these conditions that we're seeing right now with the light show we're getting, it's probably similar to about G3 conditions where we're at right now. It would take a lot more to go right to reach those G4 levels. We really need the Earth to help push the magnetic field more south to the lower 48 so we can see it. And we've been playing that back and forth all night. If I had money, I wouldn't put it on it right now, but it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility. Definitely not as likely as it was yesterday, though.
I got you. And battling fog coverage tomorrow morning. So really, this is our window for the next couple of hours to get any action. But I know that you have some great shots up there. We'll work on getting that shared on our socials coming up after the show. So go ahead and, of course, follow North Mississippi Storm Chasers and follow Matt and I on our pages, and you will not miss a thing whenever it comes to coverage here in North Mississippi. So, Adrian, big thank you for joining us here on Mississippi Live Weather at 10. Best of luck, and, of course, share those pillars because I want to see it. I haven't seen it yet tonight.
Yes, sir, absolutely. As soon as I get the film onto my phone, I will send them right to you. It's always a blessing for you to call me and have me on, so appreciate you guys.
Well, you're knowledgeable, especially about this stuff when things I do not even know about, have not even thought about touching whenever it comes to astronomy. So anytime there's anything in the sky, even weather related, we're gonna of course touch base because we know that you're always out there finding what's happening.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Thank you so much, Gabe.
Of course, have a good one, and send those pictures in. We'll of course share those here in a moment.
Yes, sir. God bless.
All right, same to you. See you later. All right, so that was Adrian with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers, kind of walking us through what he's seeing. He does have some reds and some pinks on the horizon in Iuka, but also getting some of those pillars. That's where it's becoming a little bit more of an evident surge that we're getting here in North Mississippi, so hopefully you're getting that as well. Of course, I've been telling it to Adrian all the time, but also to you guys at home, if you are getting any of those pink hues, I mean, even just the slightest bit like what we had in Tremont, go ahead and send those in because we love getting to see any evidence of the Northern Lights. Not every day you get to see that here in North Mississippi, so we're going to soak up every second that we can. But looking across the region, this, of course, out there in New Albany, but we also are getting a look in 8 to 10 through the North Mississippi Storm Chaser cameras. I was seeing a little bit of a pink hue on some of the cameras that they do have around the area. 8 to 10 not as fortunate. Of course, that is a little bit more south down there in Oktibbeha County. But as we look out there towards Macon was popping off with color yesterday. Not seeing that as evident for tonight, and that's just a result of more of that G3 instead of G4. Our KP index not exactly as high, and that's what Adrian was walking us through a moment ago. And so definitely hoping that it surges a little bit more so we get some more of those colors. But again, we will take what we can get and go ahead and send those pictures in to the Mississippi Live Weather app. 51 degrees, not too bad temperature-wise, so that's even more reason why you guys need to go out there and enjoy this, I'm not going to say once in a lifetime event, but a rare event here in North Mississippi. Mississippi Live Weather radar staying dry and staying clear for the most part. If we expand things out on satellite imagery, it definitely showcases how dry and clear things are. I mean, just looking, the nearest cloud is primarily going to be south there towards Jackson and a little bit more coverage towards Albany, Georgia, but that's really it. We're very dry and very clear here in North Mississippi, and we are awaiting that fog to build into our forecast, getting more into our Thursday morning. As you can see, high pressure, the big driver in our forecast, but as we do have high pressure directly towards our south, cycles in some of that southerly wind, and that's where we will get that return of moisture right here to North Mississippi. And of course, fog is moisture on the ground, and that's where you could get some evidence of that. So we're kind of waiting on that to start to take place. That will limit our coverage in regards to what we get to see in the sky. That's the unfortunate part about it. So enjoy these last couple of hours. Definitely worthwhile to head outside and enjoy that. 47 degrees by midnight, dropping off to 45 by 3, and 43 degrees heading out the door tomorrow morning. Although it's not 22 like what we saw Tuesday morning, 43 degrees, still a chilly forecast, enough to have those have a layer on standby to stay warm as we head out the door. Futurecast will show exactly that with that fog coverage just building over time. As you see about 2 a.m., watch how this just increases from 2 to 6 a.m. right there along that same boundary from Highway 6 all the way across I-22 towards Birmingham. Very dense fog coverage is what's expected as we get into that morning commute. Some areas lucky and not dealing with any, but we'll still still be patchy, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of that develop. And meteorologist Maggie McCauley will have the latest on that forecast as you head out the door and letting you know where that fog is taking place. Low temperatures, low to mid 40s across North Mississippi with a few low 50s. For the start of our Thursday, that's where that fog will build in a little bit more evident, and that cloud cover will limit how much that heat does escape. And so that's kind of the difference in the temperatures across the area, but nonetheless still going to be cool enough to have a jacket on standby. And so those school bus forecasts, of course, pick up. Kids need to have a layer as they get to the bus stop, but by the afternoon, short sleeves, dare I say shorts, will be good for this forecast. 72 degrees in mid-November, definitely a great thing because it, of course, keeps us warm. I wish the 20s never happened because the 20s killed my tomatoes. If we would have had this forecast all week long, my tomatoes would still be thriving. I'm going to keep talking about the tomatoes until that nerve is done, but it's still very upsetting thinking about what could have been. But anyway, great forecast for tomorrow, still with partly cloudy conditions. Foggy to start, but then those foggy clouds go a little bit more elevated and turn into partly cloudy conditions there in our North Mississippi sky. As you can see right here, that fog burning up as the morning goes on and the sun comes up, and then we'll be left with this cloud cover building in along Tennessee and then into North Mississippi, this becoming a little bit more widespread by the afternoon. We will still be getting that sunshine peeking through, but not going to be as extensive as we reach that afternoon time frame. So enjoy that sunshine while it's here, but even with that cloud cover, no rain is expected. So we're not really expecting anything action-wise in our skies getting into our Thursday, so still a great forecast to get outside and enjoy. High temperatures, upper 60s around the far northeast corner of North Mississippi. 68 degrees Boonville, 68 in Iuka. The rest of us low to mid 70s with 76 in Greenwood, Belzona, 74 Clarksdale, and 75 around Grenada. Our normal high, 65 degrees, so well above that no matter where you're at here in North Mississippi. Let's take Futurecast into, well, the future, and then we're talking Thursday night as we get into the latter part of our work week. Let's expand things out, and as you can see right here, high pressure working its way through the region once again. This is a dominant ridging pattern, allowing that high pressure to just sit right over the top of us, not really changing anything in our forecast and keeping things dry and keeping things clear. As we get into our Friday, though, high pressure is, of course, out there towards our east. Whenever that takes place, we get that southerly wind back in the forecast, allowing for some moisture to develop over the top of Mississippi. And that's where we will get some cloud cover building into our forecast by our Friday morning. Maybe a little bit of evident fog right there, but getting more towards our mid-morning. A lot of that does clear out, and we'll see mostly clear skies and a good bit of sunshine as well as we get towards our Friday afternoon. That little bit of cloud cover we do have, very thin in nature, so not exactly going to block that sunshine. It's still going to be a warm one, still going to be a dry one. And another great forecast, honestly. We're heading into playoff football action. Last week we had to move it to Thursday night. Well, Friday night lights are back in action. We'll be out in Faulkner watching Oklahoma come into town. But the rest of you guys, multiple playoff games happening for your Thursday. For your Friday night. See, I'm still on last week's time frame. For your Friday night, so get out there and support local and, of course, cheer on your teams. And temperature-wise, not looking bad either. You take a look around the region. We're talking mid to upper 70s with 78 Greenwood, Grenada, Water Valley, 75 Holly Springs, 74 Boonville, and 76 around Tupelo, 77 Golden Triangle, as well as 76 around Pickens County in Aliceville. I mentioned high school football. Well, your high school game of the week forecast. Let's take a look at that, presented by Casey Lott. Big thank you to them for partnering with us on this season-long journey of football action, and we have enjoyed every second of it. You see Starkville versus Oxford behind me. That was last week's action. We're heading over to Faulkner, Oklahoma for playoff action. Pre-game 68 degrees, halftime 62, and final snap 58. Hey, I wore shorts when it was lower 40s. I'm wearing shorts this Friday night. So if you want to join me, well, do what you want, but I was definitely chilly at some spots, but 58 degrees with a jacket and some shorts, that helps you get by. At least it did for me. If we look at our college football forecast, as you can see, Alabama taking on Oklahoma. Said it wrong at 6 o'clock, or Will Colmeyer would have been upset with me, but it is going to be in Tuscaloosa for your Saturday afternoon. 77 first play, 73 by halftime, and 64 towards that final snap. Abundant sunshine all day long, so those tailgates there outside of Bryant-Denny going to be good to go. I think it's Denny Chimes is where the bulk of the tailgates take place. I don't know. I'm not caught up on my Alabama knowledge. Mississippi State traveling over to Columbia, Missouri. Got to fix that time frame, but that's going to be 6:45 on Saturday. 67 degrees first place, 61 halftime, and 58 towards that final snap. And last but certainly not least, the Ole Miss Rebels taking on the Florida Gators in Oxford. Should be a great game, but should be one where the Ole Miss Rebels come out on top. 67 first place, 65 by halftime, and same thing towards that final snap. Clear skies all night long, so this is going to be a good one for Rebel fans to attend. And of course, cheer on their Rebels as they take on the Gators and hopefully keep that playoff spot on a lock. But requires fans showing up, and that's been a tough thing the past couple of weeks. So Lane has challenged you guys. We're challenging you as well here at Mississippi Live Weather. Go support your teams, Bulldogs and Rebels. Looking at that extended forecast, 76 there on Friday, 77 Saturday, mid-70s going to linger in our forecast into the weekend, along with abundant sunshine. What has shifted in the forecast? Well, those rain chances on Sunday that we were tracking yesterday now has been pushed back once again all the way into Monday night, pushing into our Tuesday. 30%, I'll be honest, might be a little bit on the higher side. We'll definitely see how this trends into tomorrow morning as well as tomorrow evening. We'll have the latest forecast on that and the latest on those rain chances, but definitely going to be an overnight threat as those rain chances roll on through. A few rumbles of thunder expected as well, but no severe weather going to be attached to this, and that's definitely a blessing as we go into that mid-November forecast. But guys, look at this extended temperature forecast. Sitting in the 70s well into Tuesday, even, 69 degrees, we'll bump that up to 70 at that point for Wednesday. And that's an entire week away. That's going into the November 20s, or the 20s. Golly, that is insane that we're wrapping up November still close to the 70s. So it's definitely going to be a warm forecast, above average for sure. And we'll have, we're inching closer to Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving break. I know teachers and students excited about that one. But I thank you guys for joining us tonight on Mississippi Live Weather. I want to see what you guys are saying. MSU, go Cowboys. Patty, I'm with you on that. Go MSU. I'm hoping that we can pull off something. One more game to get a bowl game. I think we got it. Columbia, Missouri, going to be where the action takes place. Honestly, I think it's our last hope, but we'll see. Bama going to beat the Boomers. Beat Boomers. It sounds like the generation of Boomers that you're talking about. No, we'll see. They should handle business. I don't think, I forgot who their quarterback is, but they've kind of fallen off here recently. And yeah, just looking at the chat, thank you so much for joining us tonight, guys. You guys are amazing. And of course, submit those pictures. Our weather watchers out in the field, you guys do a great job with that. And we'll work on sharing as much as we can whenever it comes to these Northern Light photos. We've got, like I said, nearly 2,000 yesterday. And that might be undercutting it too. Golly, it was insane, but so cool seeing what you guys are seeing across North Mississippi and Alabama and Tennessee. It was all over the place. So you guys are phenomenal. Have a fantastic night. And of course, go download that Mississippi Live Weather app, free and available on iOS and Android. As you can see right here, scan the QR codes and you will be all set to cover the storm here in North Mississippi, whether that storm is a geomagnetic one or a literal thunderstorm. Both of which we are keeping an eye on here behind the scenes at Mississippi Live Weather. Next broadcast at 6:37 and 7:30. Wake up bright and early with meteorologist Maggie McCauley to walk through that forecast. And of course, she will have the latest on that with a cup of coffee in hand. And I recommend you do the same in that front as well. 5, 6, and 10, we'll be back here tomorrow evening walking through that forecast. And of course, talking rain chances next week. That's really what we're all paying attention to as we get into that extended forecast. So we'll answer all those questions. And if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, info@msliveweather.com, or go ahead and put it in the comments. And we'll be happy to answer that as we get into the next couple of broadcasts. You guys have a great night, and we will see you bright and early at 6:30.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
The bravest thing that my dad has done has been going back to school.
It wasn't when he first enlisted, it was when he found his first support group.
The bravest thing she did is when she asked for help.